morning, y'all. This is Ned over My Philippine Dreams, and welcome to my one-year celebration in the Philippines. Yes, it was 365 days ago today that I landed in Manila, stepped forth into this hot, humid, tropical paradise, and started my voyage. And what we're going to be talking about today, briefly, hopefully, is just an appreciation of the people, the places, and the things that I've experienced since coming here. And that's what we're going to do in this first part. And then in the second part tomorrow, we're going to talk about some of the ways that these external things have affected me internally. Because if you remember, one of the things that I noted and the reasons that I came to the Philippines was trying to get out of my comfort zone, trying to learn things about myself, trying to gain a sense of gratitude that I had lost in the West. And for the most part, the Philippines has been able to fulfill a lot of that. But first off, let's talk about some of the people, places, and things that I've experienced over the past year. The people, first and foremost, and I guess you could say this about any country, but the Philippines' greatest asset is their people. I hate to, again, perpetuate a stereotype, but Filipinos are by far the friendliest, nicest, kindest, most altruistic people that I have ever met in my 47 years on God's green earth. You can best appreciate this in the example when I had the flat tire with my Pajero. That was a bad experience. I didn't have a spare. I didn't even have a jack or anything to get the freaking tire replaced. And I got rescued by Robert's Tire, Quick Tire down on South Road. And while they were off fixing my tire, they had me sit and guard the truck. And it was hot as blazes. It was noontime. The sun was beating down. And I just had to sit there and watch the truck. And I'm just miserable. And after a few minutes, I hear this noise behind me, and I look around, and I see this old guy, this Lolo. And he's bringing out a plastic chair for me. And, he smiled, and he had the big gap-tooth smile with all the teeth missing and everything. And he sat the chair down for me, and I said, "Oh, my God, thank you so much. Salamat kayo." And he just kind of nodded. I don't know if his English wasn't up to par or whatever. And I sit down, and about 4 minutes later, he comes back with a little Coca-Cola Zacto, a little Coca-Cola in a glass bottle for me. And I mean, that's just one of many examples of the type of people that you're going to encounter here. Again, and you guys know my misadventures, and they require me often to be rescued by Filipinos. So I really appreciate that. I've also met a good number of people and made some friends here, some Filipinos, some Filipinas. It's a very different world here, the social structure, the way people interact, just the smiling. When I first got here, again, I had to get used to smiling. I'm from New England. I'm from a place where if you get eye contact with a stranger in the street, they're probably going to double up their fists and want to come at you. And when I got here, people smile at you, people talk to you, say, "Hey, where you from?" Blah, blah, blah. They start up these whole conversations. If you just pull over on the side of the road and ask for directions, the next thing you know, you're going to be involved in like a 20, 30-minute conversation, and you're going to be learning all kinds of things. That's just another example. Little kids on the side of the street when you're riding your bike around saying, "Hey, Joe," and all that stuff. Some expats get offended by that. "Hey, that's not right for us to be calling. My name's not Joe, blah, blah, blah." Come on, guys, really? Another thing is just the closeness of the social ties here. You see people walking around hand in hand, people walking around with their arms around each other, people smiling, and they're genuine smiles. It's just not a face smile. You see it actually affect their whole face. So it's genuine and it's real. So again, the people here are the country's greatest resources. Talking about other great resources, let's talk about some places. The Philippines is gorgeous, hands down. Again, it's the most beautiful place I have ever been. Yeah, some of the city areas can be a little bit, built up and kind of grimy and run down. But hey, that's urban blight. You'll see that anywhere. But in a town like Dumaguete, for example, all it takes is you jumping on your motorcycle, heading out 15 minutes in either direction. hot springs. You can be down at Darwin at Marine Sanctuary, snorkeling around with the fish. Black sand beaches, brown sand beaches, white sand beaches. They got it all. Over the past year, I've also been able to go to Dapitan, Dipolog, Pagadian City, Moal Boal, Kawasan Falls, Sipalai, Bayawan, Mabinai. I'm starting to forgive you, Mabinai. My back's starting to feel a little bit better. Cebu City. It's great being able to travel around as easily as you can in the Philippines. The ferry system here is extremely inexpensive. You have your motorcycle, you're not using much gas. Overnight accommodations are like 600, 700 pesos. You can get fan rooms for like 300 pesos. Little carinderias, little roadside places to eat. So traveling around and seeing the sights is one of the great things that you can do here. And I've really tried to take advantage of it as much as I could. And what I'm also looking forward to is not just the places I've been this past year, but all the places that I'm going to be going over the next however many years I'm going to be in the Philippines. There's 7,000 plus islands, so there's so much to see. Hopefully I'll get up to Palawan at some point, Boracay, Leyte, Luzon. I'd like to see that beach where they film the surfing in Apocalypse Now, and I think that's on the east side of Luzon somewhere. So that will be pretty cool. So those are the places, and again, getting to see these places is not difficult at all. And the transportation system here, although it's not perfect and it doesn't always run on time, it's fun jumping on a ferry and seeing the sights. You know, seeing the islands from a distance, going from one gem, emerald gem to the next. So those are some of the places that I appreciate, and again, I'm looking forward to going to a lot more of them. And finally, some of the things. The worst thing about the Philippines, although this isn't one of those complaint videos, is again the heat. It takes a while to get used to it. I'm not fully adjusted to it yet. In the 5 days that we've had before this tropical storm Queenie came through, it was brutally hot. But I have adjusted because, again, we sometimes have subscribers who come to the Philippines, they come to Dumaguete, and they want to meet up with us for lunch or dinner. And I can see myself, I can see them sweating, but I'm not sweating, so I can tell that I'm adjusting a little bit. It's still, some days are pretty brutal, but hey, that's life. Some of the other things, I took my first jeepney ride in the Philippines. I saw my first sea turtle in the Philippines. I saw my first clownfish in the Philippines. I saw my first barracuda in the Philippines. Halo, taking a blast down on a series bus, getting almost killed by a series bus. It's there's a lot of things to experience here. The food, a lot of people are going to complain about the food. I don't complain about the food because once you find the good places to eat, you're in. If you're eating at roadside carinderias where the food's been sitting out for hours, yeah, that's going to be pretty gross. That's going to be pretty grimy. But if you find, once you find the good places that are cooking the food fresh, you're going to love it. Kinilaw, Pansit. The best food I've had was in the Philippines. That was some fresh made kinilaw out of yellowfin tuna. Best food I've had in my entire life in the Philippines. Also, the worst food I had was in the Philippines. It was a roadside carinderia, and it was pansit made with chicken necks. Yeah, chicken necks, man. So that's something I didn't fully appreciate. Also, just seeing all the... one of my hobbies has been taking photos of interesting scooters. The guys here, the Filipinos, the dongs and the dies, they get their scooters and they do some customization on them. And I've been taking pictures of that, and that's interesting seeing that stuff. It just has a lot to offer. The different types of flora, the different types of fauna and all that stuff. I don't know, 90% of the stuff, I don't know what it is that I'm seeing, but it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I mean, just take a look around at these giant trees that we have here on the boulevard. I think they're called acacia or something. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So there's a lot to see, there's a lot to appreciate. Again, it's a different world. And it's been a really fantastic journey. What we're going to be talking about tomorrow is how a lot of the things here have affected me internally. a lot of times in life we're trying to get somewhere. We're trying to get to a destination. And we think that when we arrive at that destination, it's going to be the cure-all for all that ails us. But in this case, the thing that I've noticed is the journey has become the reward. I don't know where I'm going to end up. I don't know where the journey's going to take me next. But I'm learning as I go along. And hopefully through the process of becoming a better man. I guess hindsight in the future will only be able to, objectively determine that. But so far, so good. So here's to the Philippines. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. BOI, thank you for not blacklisting me yet. And this is Ned over My Philippine Dreams. This is my first year in the Philippines. I'll see you next time. Peace.